Guys, when I tell you I have not been able to put this book down, I'm just honestly having so much fun the fact that we have magic wands. How did I not see that? I feel like there were hints. It is very moody, very atmospheric, and that just hooks me from the get-go. Hi my loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you guys are new. I don't know about you, but maybe it's the cold weather, maybe it's the fact that Halloween is coming up. I have been in such a fantasy and romantasy mood at the moment. All I want to do is read romantasy books and fantasy books on my TBR non-stop, so that is exactly what we're going to be doing this week. We're just basically going to be working through my fantasy TBR. There are so many books I am dying to read, and I'm very aware that we're not going to get through all of them in this video, but I figure we can get through like 3 or 4 hopefully. We'll see how much I can like actually get read in a week. I'm definitely going to be mood reading this week. Like I'm just going to be picking up books that are on my physical TBR, but just whatever I'm feeling as the week goes on. First book that we are starting with though is Silvercloak by L.K. Stephen. This is actually the same author who wrote Our Infinite Fates. You guys told me that, and I had no idea because she goes by L.K. Stevens with her adult fantasies and then Laura Stevens with her young adult fantasies, like YA books that I've read. I have actually started this. We are about 86 pages in. We are up to chapter 8 because I was recently away. I was on holidays at the beach, which was really refreshing, let me tell you. But I brought this with me and started it at the very end of our trip. I didn't get very far into it though because I was reading a lot on my Kindle up there because like when we were traveling it was usually darker like at night or early morning, so I didn't really want to be like straining my eyes trying to read a book, so I was reading on my Kindle. But I've only just started this one, so we're going to be reading majority of it in this vlog. I am still very early days. I'm still kind of getting the gist of what is going on in this book. So to start this video, I'll give you my thoughts so far. Very early days, as I said. Basically, from what I know so far, we are following Staph, and I think it was like 20 years ago. Let me double check. Yes, 20 years ago, her parents were killed by blood moons. Blood moons are like these kind of ruthless magical folk, from what I'm understanding so far, almost like the bad guys in this situation, bad mystical people. At the moment, Staph is training at an academy to be a Silvercloak, which are kind of like the good, let's just call them the good magical people from what I'm gathering. In this world as well, we have magic wands, which is so much fun. We have magic wands and they like are used to cast spells, obviously, curses, everything like that. However, one key thing about Staph as a protagonist is while she can cast magic, magic doesn't affect her. So when there are curses put on her or truth serums given to her, they don't affect her. That is not a normal thing. That is not okay to be in the Silvercloak Academy if that is the case, but she has just pretty much lied her way in and managed to be in this academy. An opportunity comes up for her to finally get revenge on the Blood Moons for killing her parents by going undercover and kind of corrupting from the inside, figuring out all their lies and secrets from the inside. And because she has this magical ability where like curses and stuff don't affect her, it's easy for her to lie her way in. Even if they're like, I'm gonna give you truth serum, so we're gonna like be able to like tell exactly what your intentions are, they can't because she doesn't feel it. That's kind of all we've got so far. That is like the kind of the premise of the book, and that's really all that's happened so far. It is a very different kind of writing to what I'm used to from Laura Stevens, but that's not a bad thing at all. I'm actually having a really good time with it. Also, I think our protagonist is bi. Like we haven't got a confirmation on it yet, but I love that. So yeah, we've kind of met only a few characters so far. So far I'm liking them. Staph as a main protagonist is fine. She's not like standing out to me by any means at this point, but she quite possibly could later in the book. It's a very moody kind of dark atmosphere at the moment. All the vibe I'm getting, I feel like very much like the cover is giving off. It's very similar to that. Today is my kind of reading day. I am going to try read as much as I can, and I will be updating you throughout the day and throughout the week as we get through our fantasy TBR. So I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, that adds so much to the plot. Oh my gosh. There's like a crime situation, how to explain it, but there's like this drink, black cherry sour, and it contains like this kind of like addictive drug essentially. And once you've had it, you have withdrawals from it, even if you have it just once. And that's what they're importing. Oh my gosh. They're not actually importing the blackberry sours. That's a drink that it contains a drug. I don't know if I clarified that. This is honestly so addictive. I feel like I had a bit of a slow start to it because I started it obviously on holidays. So it kind of took me a little bit to get into like the initial plot of the book almost. It took me a little bit to get into what was going on, into the world. Now that I am in it, I am pretty instantly hooked. I'm just honestly having so much fun the fact that we have magic wands. The magic wands being used in a way I would not have expected magic wands to be used. I'm not going to lie. Complete transparency. It's so fun to have spells and curses and everything. You can see where a lot of the curses or the names and like how you do a spell, I guess. Where they come from, a lot of it is very Latin based, I believe. Honestly, having a good time though. I will say this is very much a fantasy. I wouldn't say this is a romancy at all. There is like a tiny line of romance, and for some reason I had the expectation that there was a lot more romance in this, but I'm not mad about it. Sometimes the repetition of spells and like explaining what the spells do when the person casts them can get a little bit annoying, but not too much, honestly. And it's kind of good to have a refresher, because if you're not really in the book and you're kind of like, you know, when you're reading and you're reading and you're understanding everything, but you're not as into it as you could be, your mind is kind of like going elsewhere, that's when it can be really useful. I feel like my expectations were just very different going into this book. I thought it was very much an academy setting, and I feel like the academy setting, obviously it was only the very beginning, and now it's more like an undercover heist type situation. It's very easy to read. I feel like I'm very tense at the moment. I'm very curious to see what is going to happen and where we're going to go. Also, the fact that Laura Stevens wrote this, the same person who wrote Our Infinite Fates, is insane to me, because it feels like a very, very different writing style. Our Infinite Fates was so character focused, so romantic. The plot was there. If you guys have watched my vlog of that or my recap or whatever, I liked Our Infinite Fates, but I liked the first 70%, and then the last bit really like put down my rating. Like, it was going to be a really high rating, and then I think I ended up rating it a 3.5 just because I thought the ending was a little bit outlandish. But I loved the way she created characters. Whilst characters are created just as great in this, we're very much more focused on the world and the politics and the magic system than we were in Our Infinite Fates. I think because Our Infinite Fates was YA and this is an adult fantasy, really feels like that step up. Like, it feels really different and in like a great way. So she's a little bit of a chameleon with her writing, honestly. I feel like I wouldn't pick it. If you guys hadn't told me that this was the same author, I don't know, I would have been able to pick it. There are definitely similarities when you start like really thinking about it, but honestly, it's a very, very different feel. I know that blood moons are technically not vampires at all. They're not vampires. They're just kind of like evil, magical people. But in my head, they're in the same realm as vampires or demons or something like that. Not that they do have any of that mythical stuff about them, but that is the same kind of status that vampires, werewolves, demons all have in my mind. They're like low-key morally grey, but you can't help but love them, if that makes sense. I am enjoying getting to know all of our different blood moons. They all have very strong characteristics. So honestly, pretty much all positive from here. We're over halfway. I think we've got 200 pages left, maybe a little less. So hopefully we will finish this. Maybe tomorrow. We might finish it tomorrow. See how we go. I just reached chapter 40, which means we basically have less than 100 pages. Sorry, there you go. 100 pages left. The stakes are so tense right now. I feel like usually I wait for the last 100 pages for the action to really happen in a fantasy book. The action has been happening for the past, kind of since I updated you last night. It's been non-stop, just so much going on. I'm really intrigued in this story. The plot is so good. I'm really liking Lauren Stevens' writing in this one. Like, a lot more than Our Infinite Fates. Our Infinite Fates was very easy to read. This is definitely a little bit more, like, you have to switch your brain on a little bit more, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Already have been a few little moments where I've just kind of had to like stop and be like, what just happened? That was not a twist I thought was coming very soon. And I love that. I love that in my fantasy books. So I'm genuinely having the best time. I think we're going to be able to finish it tonight, which is exciting. There's so much I want to say, but I can't say anything because obviously we are reaching the end of the book and there is just so many spoilers I could say, and I want to say something. As I said in my last clip though, really liking the magic system. I'm loving having magic spells and everything again. It is so much fun. This is a very like dark fantasy as well. It is very moody, very atmospheric, almost a little bit like mafia vibes in a sense, but not at like, but in a magical setting. I don't know how to describe it, but it is very intriguing. There is a specific word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but a little bit of like a crime lord type situation, but make it fancy, and I am loving it. Like, it is so fun, perfect for this time of the year. If you're going into autumn or fall, like same thing, obviously just different words, highly recommend. Like, this would be such a fun Halloween kind of read. This is just the perfect kind of atmosphere for that. I'm really excited to finish it. I fear it will leave off on a cliffhanger. I don't know if this is a series. I believe it is. But if this is a series and it leaves off on a cliffhanger, I'm going to be so annoyed. I'm going to be so annoyed because there are so many books that I've read this year that have done that to me because I keep reading new releases and they all are the start of new series. So anyway, really enjoying it so far. Honestly, not a lot to complain about, like at all. How did I not see that? I feel like there were hints. Oh my god. The stakes are so high, guys. I don't understand what's happening. I don't think I have hated a character so much in such a long time. I hate this character. You're meant to hate them, by the way. It's not like bad writing, like you're meant to hate them. It's making me mad though. I was fooled. I am fooled. I saw that coming from a mile away. No, I'm not okay. That's it. I need the second book. I need the second book now. Guys, when I tell you it is literally miserable outside, like it is such bad weather. But I'm not even complaining. I'm literally not even complaining because I had lined up today to be my reading day. It's a Sunday. Obviously it's going to be a reading day. And oh my God, it is the perfect time. It is the perfect weather for it. So I'm making a tea. I actually just finished Silvercloak. Let me get it. I finished this a little bit ago. And by my reactions, you probably saw that was not the ending I was expecting it to. No, it has to be a continuation. Like there has to be another duology or something coming in this because this was like crazy behavior from a book. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Laura Stephen. Whoa. Just whoa. This felt so refreshing. It felt so different to any fantasy I've read. Well, not like completely different. I feel like there were a lot of similarities, but on the whole, the magic system felt quite different. And I really, really appreciated this. I genuinely like don't even know how to kind of put my thoughts into words. I'm kind of struggling, but we'll talk about it while I make a tea. I'm gonna use my T2 pack that I got. They did a collaboration with like Penguin and all their classic books. Already out of Melbourne Breakfast. I think we're gonna go with the French Earl Grey. I love a French Earl Grey as well, especially T2. I don't know what it is about them, but theirs is like better. In terms of a rating, I'm kind of confused. I feel like I'm gonna go for like a 4.5. Like there was not a lot I can fault about this. The main criticism I have is I wasn't feeling the chemistry for the main love situation as much as I was hoping. I just didn't feel it as much as I think I could have. I'm not sure if that's just because I didn't connect to the characters as much as I would have liked. And so, you know, if I have, I might have liked the love. Why do I keep going love triangle? It's not a love triangle. Just the love line. What is it? I literally cannot words right now. But yeah, that's probably my only critique. I just didn't think they had amazing chemistry. I feel like Our Infinite Fates was such good chemistry. And I think I had higher expectations. I will say though, the romance line is definitely like a subplot in this, which I usually like. That is what I love, honestly. It wasn't the main focus and I did like that. There's this way of doing subplots in fantasy books where it's not the main focus, but the interactions that it has and the focus that it does have makes a massive impact on you, and you literally get butterflies from these like tiny little interactions. That is like my Roman Empire of a romance subplot in a fantasy book, and not a lot of books live up to that. Like it's a hard place to get to. So I'm not saying that it's a bad book for not living up to that, and I recommend this for the magic system and for the world and for the whole like dark crime scene. Like that was really, really interesting. Again, perfect for this time of year. The next book we're gonna go on to though, oh my God, is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Alchemy of Secrets arrived whilst I was reading this, like once I had started it, so I wanted to finish it before I started Alchemy of Secrets. And so I've kind of been like so excited to start Alchemy of Secrets. So that is what we're gonna read next. It's quite little. I think it's like 300 pages. So I don't know, maybe we'll just binge it today. I'm not sure. I have the whole day aside to read. And I genuinely don't know what we'll go into after that, but I am in my fantasy mood and I am loving every single second of it. I have been missing this feeling of just being so obsessed with reading fantasy that like I cannot get enough of it, and that is what I'm feeling at the moment and I love it. You know that feeling when you start reading a book and you're literally hooked from like page 1? Well, not like page 1, but like 10 pages in, and I was instantly immersed in this world. I am loving this. I've just hit 100 pages in. Guys, this is so good. If you didn't know, I am a massive Stephanie Garber fan, and I've been looking forward to this book so much. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the entire year. So when this showed up on my doorstep early, I literally almost had a panic attack. I feel like this is giving very different from the blurb, but in the best way possible. So blurb says, you're here because of a story. It starts with a class in an old movie theater. Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths, taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe that the professor's story is just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. Her search for the truth leads her to a dazzling new world, a deadly ultimatum hidden at the heart of Los Angeles, and into a path of a magnetic stranger who claims he's been sent to save her life. What's making it really interesting for me is that we have chapters, sorry, the lighting, like today's weather is just going dark, light, like I don't know what's happening. I wouldn't say it's every second chapter. I would say every third to fourth chapter is set in the second person perspective. It's almost like you were in the professor's class. You were a student in her class. If you don't know what second person perspective is, it's saying you. So you do this, you walk into the room, you are listening to this. And I just feel like that's not a very common perspective at all to write in. So we're going between that perspective and then so like your own perspective and then Holland St. James. So Holland is a very cool character so far. When I say it's not giving exactly what the blurb does, it has a massive element of mystery in it, and that just hooks me from the get-go. As soon as I read about that mystery, I was like, I don't want to say what it is because I want to like, obviously it doesn't say it on the blurb for a reason. Something about the way Stephanie Garber writes, this is her first adult fantasy by the way, and something about the way she writes is so whimsical and mystical, like you are so instantly immersed. And this is an interesting world because we kind of have magical elements. It's not like the Once Upon a Broken Heart or Caraval worlds where they're very just, you know, full on fantasy. This is like modern day society but with fantastical elements, kind of like the dark side of Los Angeles. If you read the Cassandra Clare series, you know that that's set in the modern world, and then we kind of have this alternate fantasy reality in the modern world where all the shadow hunters are that isn't like perceptible to the human eye. It's kind of giving that. I don't know if normal humans can see this or not, but yeah, it's kind of giving that. I don't want to say too much because honestly going into it blind, apart from knowing like the little tiny blurb for this, is so much fun. Like I am literally having so much fun. I have not been able to put it down all afternoon. It is now almost 2 o'clock, so we still have quite a bit of the afternoon left. I might try and take Maisie for a walk later if it gets, you know, walkable weather. But apart from that, we can pretty much just read all afternoon, which is the ideal Sunday. I really don't know who to trust in this world as well. I feel like we've been introduced to a lot of different characters and I really have no idea like who to trust, who our characters should trust. I don't know. I'm really confused and I'm kind of just also just obsessed. Like I literally am having so much fun and a book hasn't made me feel like this in a long time. As I said as well, it's only just over 300 pages, so it's really not that long of a book. Very big font, very easy to read. I need to keep reading. Like I am genuinely, if I were to stop now, it's all I would be thinking about. So I'm just gonna keep reading. Guys, when I tell you I've not been able to put this book down, it's later in the day. What time are we at? 4:30. I have literally just been hooked on this. We are almost at page 200. We are at page 185, chapter 29. Guys, this is so good. I don't know why. It's giving Ballad of Never After. Like that level is what this is reaching. Whilst this is like an adult fantasy, it still has Stephanie Garber's like classic kind of YA feel about it. It's very mystical. It's very nostalgic. It's very whimsical. You are immersed in the story so quickly. The only thing that's bugging me at the moment is I feel like our main protagonist, Miss Holland, you are being way too trustworthy. You are trusting way too many people. They've already shown you that they cannot be trusted and you are trusting them nevertheless. I mean, maybe she'll prove me wrong. Maybe by the end of the book, I'll be like, oh, you should have trusted them. Good job going with your instincts. I am terrified that she's trusting these people and I'm like, girl, no. Literally though, that is my only complaint. I'm flying through it. I have a feeling that we're gonna finish it tonight. Like a book in a day. That hasn't happened in a while. That really hasn't happened in a while. I am so excited for you guys to experience this. Being back in Stephanie Garber's world is everything. Also, and I think I mentioned this before, but it's kind of a race against time type situation. We are set over like basically a day, which kind of just increases the stakes. Like the stakes are higher because of that. And I'm just like, what is going to happen? What is gonna happen? Where are our characters gonna end up? There are so many unanswered questions and I'm just kind of shocked because it's such a short book and yet I am so immediately invested. Like, oh my god, I just love Stephanie Garber's writing. I have missed her writing so much. I've missed being in her world. Take a moment for the art. Like this is a stunning arc. This has like quickly become one of my most treasured possessions on my bookshelf. This is giving Ballad of Never After level. Oh my god, can Stephanie Garber write a good male protagonist? In this case too, I don't know who I like more. Stephanie Garber creates characters like no one else. Cannot stop thinking about this book. I was just doing chores around the house and my mind is just like trying to lay out all the different possibilities and where this is going to go and where is our character going to choose. Like, I can't remember being this invested in a book. Well, I mean, Way of Kings I was, but that's different. This is a very short little fantasy book. Way of Kings is like a whole different situation. As I said, it doesn't really strike you as typical adult fantasy. It's got much more of an adult theme to it than Once Upon a Broken Heart, but that is very, very YA. So it kind of has that little elevated feel to it. It's not as YA as that. Way of writing is very beautiful and lyrical. It kind of feels a little bit younger, but in the best way possible. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. Guys, I have a new obsession. Last night we did end up finishing Alchemy of Secrets because I could not put it down. This was so much fun to read. I haven't read a book in less than 24 hours in such a long time, and it just feels so good. I feel like I've got my groove back. I feel like recently I've been in a little bit of a slump or just haven't been finding like connecting to books as much, and this has really just ignited my love again. However, I will say this wasn't a 5-star read. I think I'm gonna go for a 4.25. My reason being, I would have loved this to be a duology. This is a standalone. I just think it would have worked as a duology so much better. The ending felt very rushed. The whole plot, a lot happened in one book, and I think as a duology this would have been perfect. Or even just a longer book, just a little bit longer than 300 pages. Like maybe 400, 500 would be amazing. Not that Stephanie Garber usually writes longer books, but I think in this case it would have worked absolutely perfectly. The atmosphere about this was amazing. The characters were amazing. You were on the edge of your seat because you just didn't know who to trust. And for that reason, I absolutely loved it. But I do just think the ending felt very, very rushed. Everything was happening so quickly. It was a little bit of a blur. It kind of felt like a dream. It didn't hinder my experience that much though. Like a 4.25 is still an incredibly high rating. And I love seeing Stephanie Garber step into her adult setting, experiment with her writing a little bit, have a little bit of different characters. I would just have loved this to be a series, honestly. Like I loved our characters and I would have loved more depth to them, to get to know them better. There was a few characters that were kind of in the background and they were part of the plot, but we never actually met them. They just kind of kept getting referred to. They weren't dead or anything, like they were there. They just weren't in it, if that makes sense. So I would have liked to meet them in real, like, you know, in the plot. The world was so magical. Everything about this was so magical. I was obsessed with it. So atmospheric, as I said. So yeah, overall, highly, highly recommend. Like, please read this. You will have so much fun. Perfect read for this time of year as well. Cannot recommend enough. It's just, I wanted more. That's my main complaint. I want more. For our next book, this one's a little bit random, but I got this arc on NetGalley recently called Blood Moon by Britany S. Lewis. This is a vampire romance, I believe. I just haven't read a vampire romance in the longest time, so I'm kind of excited to go on to this. And I want to start reading more e-arcs. I feel like whenever I get physical arcs, I always read them. But when I get e-arcs, sometimes I forget about them because they're on my Kindle. So I've been wanting to read and just get through my e-arc stack. And this was a very recent addition. So I was like, you know what? Let's try this one. No idea what it's about. Have never heard of this author before. I don't know if this is a debut from her. And I haven't looked at any reviews before going into it. We're just going to dive into this today and see how we go with it. Yeah, genuinely, like, can't even tell you what this is about. Well, I know it's a vampire romance. I'm guessing Blood Moon. Also, I redid my Kindle stickers recently and I'm like actually obsessed with them, and a little chain. I love my Kindle. Anyway, that is my little update for now. Absolutely love this. Recommend it so much, and we're gonna jump into this and see how we go. Okay, it's a little bit later on. I've read a little bit of Blood Moon. I'm only like 10% in, and I am never one to DNF a book easily. If I do, it's when I'm past the 50% mark, because I think it takes that. Like, you have to get into a book to know whether you're gonna like it or not. I'm not saying I'm like not liking this book. It's fun. The main character's name is Mirabella. Her dad is the chief of police in this town. She is about to start college for the first time, and she decides to go to her like hometown college. The town she's in as well has all these local myths and legends. Her mum's gone missing. We don't know anything about that, but her mum's name is Raina. Am I the only one like piecing together these little similarities? Obviously, the mum going missing, that's a difference. Is this reminding you of anything? We also already have met two potential love interests. One is very silent and kept to themselves and a little bit of an asshole. The other one is very friendly and bubbly and like such a fun kind of sporty guy. Is anyone else seeing the similarities here, or am I just like picking up on pedantics? Because I'm a little bit confused. I'm gonna like read more and see where the plot goes. I'm not getting much. I'm not getting much from our characters. I'm not getting much from the world. I'm just confused. I'm just like genuinely a little bit confused. So we'll see how this goes. I don't mind when a fantasy romance especially is is similar to another fantasy romance I've read. Like, that happens. That really happens. It's hard to come up with a completely unique plot, and especially in a vampire book. Like, vampires are very kind of one stream. Like, I feel like they've only got the kind of one part about them. So I get it. Don't get me wrong. But there are a lot of similarities. Like, there are a lot of similarities to Twilight in this. But like, I don't want to speak too soon. I'll keep you updated. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused. I am 40, or no, I'm further. I'm like 52% or something through Blood Moon. I'm kind of, I don't want to say I was tolerating it. That's a not very nice description of it. I was having a fine time. It was easy to read. It was fun. But now it's gotten to the point where like, kind of feels like something I would have written when I was younger. I'm just not connecting with the characters. If anything, I am getting really irritated at our characters. And when I tell you, not one single thing about this has taken me by surprise. I went onto Fable because I wanted to look at reviews of like the few that have come out, because it's an arc still. And I'm not alone in thinking that this is literally Twilight. I'm really confused. There was just a line where it was like, no, this is neutral ground between two of the love interests. It's getting to a point. I just wasn't expecting this much of a similarity, and I kind of was hoping the similarities would stop at the characters, but they are very much just repeating themselves in the plot. Pushing myself through this because I'm terrible at DNFing books, so I don't really want to DNF it, but it's getting a little bit hard, and I'm kind of sad because I love a vampire romance. I love a vampire romance more than anything, and I don't read many of them because they're not that common, and I get that it's really hard to do a vampire romance uniquely. I feel like there's kind of vampire monsters and like all of that kind of stuff, but the whole typical high school human girl, vampire guy, whatever. This is me like completely making it up, theorizing. Like, I don't know if this is what's gonna happen, but I just feel like that trope in itself is hard to do uniquely. So like, I get that it's similar. It's always going to be. I've reread Twilight. I know that's not the best thing in the world because it is not the best written book in the world, but it is one of my guilty pleasures and like one of my favorite books from when I was younger. And so if I'd read this when I was like in high school, probably would have had a lot better time and been like, this is a great just, you know, release from my studies. But now I just can't really read it without separating myself from the fact that this is literally Twilight. We'll get through it. I'm gonna force myself through it because I'm actually kind of curious to see how similar the plot's gonna be. At the moment, there is hardly a plot. We're literally just following her at school or college, and like there's mysterious things happening. This one's an interesting one. I'll keep reading later and I'll update you again. Guys, when I tell you I have not rage read a book in a long time. I don't know what it is inside me, but I can't DNF this. I'm 80% in. What is happening? I'm so confused. I read a line just then. This feels like Twilight fanfiction. I am so confused. It's like if Bella was in college, not high school. I'm so confused. Okay, I'm gonna try and look for positives. Main love interest, he's fine. He's okay. You guys, I am struggling. The plot has just come out of nowhere. And I feel awful saying that because I know that somebody has put so much time and effort into this. I'm just really in a state of like utter shock right now because like, how is this the same book that I read at 13? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. I'm gonna finish it because I've got 20% left. Obviously I'm gonna finish it. I genuinely wanted to see what the twist was, if there was gonna be a twist or something at the end, because, or like the action that it built up to towards the end, because I was like, not a lot has happened. As I said before, waiting to see the story happen. And I am purely rage reading this because you know what? Let's give it that. It's addictive. I'm addicted to it in a sense that I need to know what happens and I'm rage reading it because I'm addicted to it. We'll give it that. What? Did I just read that right? What am I reading? Oh my god, the fact that I've made it this far. Oh my god, I can't. So I just finished Blood Moon. Guys, I need some props for finishing that. I'm just kind of in a state of shock. I will say, there was a moment in this book that made it different from Twilight, and it was probably my least favorite moment of the— I feel awful saying this because I never like to criticize a book bad. This wasn't my favorite book. It was very similar to Twilight, too similar, I think. That's just my opinion, my experience reading it as someone who was a very avid Twilight fan when she was young. There was just this part where it became a little bit ridiculous in a sense. I don't want to say anything too mean, but I think I'm going to be rating this like a 2.5, 2.75 maybe stars. Like, I finished it. It wasn't so bad that I couldn't finish it. It was like a very easy book to read. Addictive in that sense, but was not one that I would be rushing to recommend to you guys. Even, I think a 2 star is probably more accurate. Like, I feel like I rate books too kindly sometimes. Sometimes I rate books 3 stars when they really should be 2 stars. I just feel bad rating it like a 2 stars. So yeah, I feel like this is like a 2-star read. I wouldn't recommend this. I think if you want another vampire romance, I'm sure you can find a better one, or one that's a little bit different, a little bit more refreshing. If you want one that's just like Twilight and you kind of want to relive that experience, then you could read this. You'd have fun. But I don't want to slander it because I don't like slandering people's works. Like at the end of the day, this author did write this entire book, and praise, good job for that. Like that's amazing. Better than I could do. So I don't want to like get too down on anything, but there was just a lot that I didn't love about this. And I pretty much said it all in my previous updates. Nothing really changed in that last like 20% of the book. It kind of got a little bit more insane, like what am I reading? But anyway, I think that will be our last book for this video. That brings us to the end of the video. We've had an insane, this was a bizarre video. Like we had some really good reads, and then just this last one, I don't know what to think. I mean, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching to the end of this video as well. It means so much to me when you guys finish these videos. You truly don't know how much you guys mean to me. So thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great reading month. I hope you got some good recommendations from this video. Finally got to see me tick some books off my TBR. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in my next video.